Once again, it's a privilege to be welcomed into your homes. Today we are reading from Acts chapter 11, verse 21b to 26, then chapter 13, 1 to 3. In those days, a great number who believed turned to the Lord. The news about them reached the ears of the church in Jerusalem, and they sent Barnabas to go to Antioch. When he arrived and saw the grace of God, he rejoiced and encouraged them all to remain faithful to the Lord in firmness of heart, for he was a good man, filled with the Holy Spirit and faith. And a large number of people was added to the Lord. Then he went to Tarsus to look for Saul, and when he had found him, he brought him to Antioch. For a whole year they met with the church and taught a large number of people, and it was in Antioch that the disciples were first called Christians. Now there were in the church at Antioch prophets and teachers: Barnabas, Simeon, who was called Niger, Lucius of Cyrene, Manaen, who was a close friend of Herod the Tetrarch, and Saul. While they were worshipping the Lord and fasting, the Holy Spirit said, "Set apart for me Barnabas and Saul for the work to which I have called them." Then, completing their fasting and prayer, they laid hands on them and sent them off. This passage presents a beautiful picture of how the Holy Spirit builds and guides the church. We see the growth of the Christian community in Antioch, where many people come to believe in the Lord. The church in Jerusalem sends Barnabas to encourage the new believers, and he rejoices when he sees God's grace at work among them. Rather than seeking recognition for himself, Barnabas seeks out Saul and brings him into the ministry. Together they teach the community, and it was in Antioch that the disciples are first called Christians. Barnabas teaches us an important lesson about humility and encouragement. He recognizes the gifts God has given to Saul and helps him find his place in the church. The mission of the church flourishes when believers support one another and rejoice in the gift of others rather than compete with them. In the second part of the reading, while the community is praying and fasting, the Holy Spirit calls Barnabas and Paul to a special mission. The church responds through prayer, fasting, and laying on of hands before sending them forth. This reminds us that Christian mission is never merely a human project. It begins with God's call and is sustained by God's grace. Dear friends, may the example of Barnabas and Paul inspire us to be faithful disciples who build up their church, listen attentively to God's voice, and courageously proclaim Christ to the world. Shalom. Peace.